Hey guys, welcome to the Big Blue United podcast. My name is TJ. I'm here with Dan and Colin. We're all back together again to talk about the worst team in the NFL.
No, that's the Panthers still somehow, I think.
One of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yes.
Okay. Anything to talk about, guys? How you feeling? Anything to share about your personal life before we jump in?
No. Well, I mean, I like it. The game wasn't awful.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, it was awful, but it was a different kind of awful. So it was like
there's nothing fun about it.
No, nothing.
It was not a fun game to watch, I would say. Maybe, I mean, not even in the beginning where, you know, it might have looked like just sort of a fake. I don't even know how to describe really what it was, to be honest.
The defense showed the hell up for the first half, you know, as they
Did
would.
They?
I mean, did you look at the score?
Yes. Okay. But like, other than the red zone, Pittsburgh was basically just moving the ball at will.
But so were we.
And nobody could score a touchdown.
No.
As usual, guys, please follow Big Blue United on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can follow us, BBU Podboys with a Z on Twitter. I mean, do you want to continue? We can just jump into the defense if you want. I mean, maybe It'd be nice to start talking about something that might be a little more positive.
Yeah, I mean,
for the most part.
Just, you know, sexual
besides the benching of her.
Has himself 10 sacks, and he's a nose tackle. So that's 7 games through.
He actually did not get credited for that sack, I believe.
Well, no, he had no, not the one where he pushed someone and then who else? I guess Ojulari had it instead. There was another one. I thought he got one himself. No,
when I looked at the stat sheet today, I didn't see it.
Oh, but he got screwed.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard sometimes. I thought he at least deserved half the sack on that Brian Burns sack.
Absolutely.
But I don't really know how they decide who gets a half a sack or not. Okereke and McFadden shared that sack when I thought Okereke just had it on his own. So I don't really know who's deciding.
Don't they say that stuff gets like adjudicated in the locker room between guys being like, yeah, I'm putting in for that, and like whether or not the other guy that like assisted on it makes a stink or not, they get a half.
Is that how that works?
That would be.
I've heard stories about that. I don't know if that's how it's changed, but I know it's like sort of handled in house.
Do you think? Do they think about pressures, like direct pressures, as part of it as well as like almost like an assist?
I think since pressure is its own stat now, essentially, that you're going to just run into a situation where both guys kind of have to be there at the same time.
Fair. That's fair.
I mean, and it definitely matters. I wouldn't be surprised, like, with how cool of a guy that Dexter Lawrence is, who just got paid, to give a half sack here or there to someone that's not getting paid just because he's a rad dude and someone else might be incentivized by the stat.
Yeah. I mean, Azeez all of a sudden looks like he might actually have some interest on the free agent market after this season's over. It only took 4 years for him to finally show up.
Well, I mean, let me ask this. I mean, why is he looking like 10 times better than Kayvon? He's way more in the mix of actually doing something consistently.
Maybe he's actually benefiting from, the Brian Burns addition and also Dexter Lawrence having the best pass rushing season of his career thus far.
Yeah, and Thibodeau couldn't do that. So that's really telling, isn't it?
I mean, that
it is.
That
but Thibodeau does other things. I think that I don't think Ojulari is as good against the run as Thibodeau is.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
I mean, yeah. Well, nobody's good against the run on this defense, apparently.
That's true.
Wow.
Yeah, I think what did they go in? Worst rushing defense in the league. I think they're averaging or letting the opposing back average 5.4 yards, and then they let Najee average 7.4 this game, and then he had 89 yards in the first quarter. I think the Steelers had almost 200 yards in the first quarter, which is, I mean, you have to give it to the defense, like you said before, Colin, of bend, don't break. I would prefer to see a little more juice in terms of stopping the run, at least.
Yeah.
We thought that going into the season that would really be like the best part of this defense, would be pass rush from the front seven, and then the secondary would be the people who are lacking. But it seems to kind of be doing the opposite now, even though you did have Tay Banks having a terrible game.
Wow. He talk about people who need to get their heads out of their asses. He's king candidate number 1, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he didn't have a good game, but was there like any like inciting moment that caused him to get pulled, or was it just like he was sick of his level of play overall?
I bet he mouthed off, frankly.
That's a good guess. I'd buy that.
Right? I mean, like he put it, and you saw the effort. Yeah, could have he tried to punch the ball out in the end zone on that touchdown? Yeah, I guess. But like, I don't know. In the moment, that's tough. He hit the guy hard. Like you'd think maybe he would jar the ball loose, but he didn't. And then he got jumped over by Najee Harris on that one play. Oh well, I mean that happens. Otherwise, he didn't look awful. He's just not quite a number one cornerback yet.
Yeah.
You can see the frustration. I mean, that non-Pickens touchdown was just one of the more ridiculous plays. I'm like, how did you not put your foot down? When I saw that replay, I was like, this guy is an idiot. How do you not put your foot down?
I don't know.
No, he got hit.
Got pushed. Yeah.
I mean, you had quite an opportunity to tap your toe down. I mean, maybe I don't know. I wasn't George Pickens. I'm not an athlete, so
they showed that the behind shot, and it was clear that his foot was just floating in the air as he's going back.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to put that down, but that did bring up a question for me. Yes,
that getting pushed out of bounds thing.
Well, no, more that like
they got rid of that a long time ago. I thought.
Yeah, they did. It was
the force
it was at least 5 to 10 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
but think about this. He got the 1 foot down twice. Why doesn't that count as 2 feet?
The rules.
Good question.
Right? Like that actually, it's the first time I've ever seen it happen in an NFL game.
Harder.
But it's like he technically got 2 feet down.
I guess it has to be 2 different feet.
That's, why can't they be the same?
Yeah, I don't know. I do think it's weird to question Tay Banks' effort on that play. He went down with the receiver, the back, who I think went in the flat, and then the safety was covering Pickens. And then, he tried to close back onto Pickens once he saw where the ball was going. I mean, he was just doing his assignment, and, ultimately he did make the play. So I found it dumb to be reading on Twitter or wherever else that was like a lack of effort play for him. It was just, he was out of position for, where the ball was thrown. He wasn't necessarily out of position for the defense they were running at the time. And then they did make the play. They did make the play.
Did what they had to do.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. And the Najee Harris thing, dude got jumped over.
It happens.
It happened. Saquon did it to somebody the week before. Big freaking deal.
There's a positive. You can actually see when you have someone like Tyrone Tracy running all over the place in the 2 games that he's had incredible games. And you don't pay that man. You put the money into the line, and this kind of stuff happens every once in a while. It's just kind of nice and validating to have that at least, I mean, this guy was he was a 4th round pick, 5th round. I don't even know. 5th. Yeah. Wonderful. Let's keep it rolling like this. That's how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, I think, said it best last week on the pod where, you don't need to be paying, you don't have enough. The team is too, not deep enough to be spending the money to pay Saquon when you can just be. And I think Dan's mantra the entire time we've been doing this pod is draft somebody in the 5th round, run them into the ground for 4 years, and then start over with somebody new.
Yeah. I do think it'll be interesting. I'm surprised they haven't done it yet, but like converting like slot wide receivers into running backs more and more and more, with like the success of like Achane and Jamari Gibbs and all these guys that are like ultra fast and ultra good receivers. And then Tyrone Tracy's taking the next step by a guy that played 1 year at running back. You just think that more and more that would happen. Just take like an ultra athletic corner, slot back or slot receiver or something, or any wide receiver really.
I kind of saw that. Do you see that with Debo a little bit? I think people were doing that.
Debo,
Percy Harvin a lot was like out of the backfield.
But they were like always like called gadget guys, and they
true.
To just transfer them to full on running back. I bet that happens more and more.
Yeah, I mean, with the way that passing happens, I mean, everyone's going to run the ball forever, but the passing game is the more important thing, more now than ever. So yeah, it just makes sense.
Yeah. Especially, I think with a lot of the passing the Giants do is more. It reminds me somewhat of like when they had Brian Westbrook and Andy Reid on the Eagles, and it's sort of like they never ran the ball, but they sort of threw a lot of dump passes.
Yeah.
So it was more just like the run game was more of like the short passing game was more of an extension of the run game than anything else.
Did you listen?
Sure,
to
nightmare.
Did you listen to the Manning Cast broadcast of this?
I did not.
Yeah,
anything good?
Yeah, it was great. I was happy to not listen to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman as always, but especially during a game like this. And it became a running joke between the brothers that, you know, screens. Oh, another screen half. It's a big. They went into halftime and Eli was just like, "You think there's gonna be screens in the second half?" And Peyton's like, "Nope, deep ball." He was like trying to will it because they were so sick of watching the screen. But it was working. It was working for both teams. So why stop it with the pass rush, you know? Neutralize it.
I think you had to do it when you have a guy you signed 10 days ago off the 49ers practice squad starting for you at left tackle. I think Daboll did a great job calling plays in the game. I think, sticking to the run against a defense that is very good against the run and having success was great. And Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. He looks like shit, and then he looks halfway decent every other week. I didn't think he played a particularly good game, but he didn't lose the Giants this game. Maybe other than the interception at the end of it. But I don't want to talk about Daniel Jones.
Let's just skip him. I mean, he's already been named as the continued starter going forward. So it is what it is. We're not going to stop.
I mean, I think the after game stuff was interesting.
How so?
When they asked Daboll about what happened on that play, and
I actually didn't see that. What did he say?
He basically didn't just say it's on me, it's my fault. He said that there was a protection and Daniel should have shifted the tight end to help block TJ Watt. And there was a lot of stuff going on and he failed to do so. And that's why TJ was singled and got the sack. And he's like, Daniel feels really bad about it. And he basically put it all on Daniel Jones, which
I'm glad he feels
fair, but also like head coaches never do that.
I mean, I think it's time to start blaming the problem. And who cares what Mr. Mara has to say about his baby? But like when you're staring the problem in the face and it's being screwed up by the one guy who shouldn't screw it up. First off, I know it's crazy and the bullets are flying and it's the NFL. But when you see the line and then there's a running back and no tight end on the side of the all-pro defensive end pass rusher, don't you think, oh, wait, look, there's that big tight end that I have, this rookie that, he'll put at least a good chip on the guy. Let me make sure I leave him right there and definitely don't motion him over. Like, are you like an actual stupid human being? Yes.
Yes, we've said this many times. He's got no football acumen.
But like, look at the line. That looks dangerous. Maybe I should put someone in front of him.
Well, Eli was commenting on it too. Like as the play was happening, he's like,
it's like you gotta motion the guy over. Motion him over.
Not doing it. Oh, I guess they're up. Yeah.
Yep.
You got blasted.
Idiot.
It was dumb. I also like if you're Daniel Jones, even if you forget to motion the guy over and change the protection, like TJ Watt is there. Be aware of him. Be aware that this dude is, Chris Hubbard has been on the team for 10 days and he's from the 49ers practice squad.
It's another classic. This can't be happening in your 6th year as starting quarterback.
I mean, my question is why is this guy starting? The Giants went into this season with absolutely no plan if Andrew Thomas got hurt. Is that right? Basically?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Evan Neal was never going to play on the Giants this year, but they decided to keep him anyway.
That might be the most interesting question of this entire year is what's the point of even keeping this guy around?
I don't know.
His first play was that awful 2-point conversion flub.
Which was atrocious.
Oh, yeah.
In every aspect. I thought like I said before, I thought Daboll had a good game calling plays. That was just you know what? If you want to go for 2, that's fine, but line up, do a normal play, something that works in a short yardage situation, or give the ball to Tracy. I don't remember if this is before or after he was concussed, but he's been having a great game. And I just don't get the gadget shit. especially when you're in a situation where, you know, you're all of a sudden down by 7 instead of 6, or 7 instead of whatever it is, you know, you're down by 8 instead of 7. It's just asinine to
You know,
me.
I don't. I would get the gadget shit if you had a quarterback and a functioning offense that can execute something like that. I don't get trying to make an offense you know is inept attempt something elaborate. And you know what the thing is? It wasn't even that elaborate. It just seemed like the linemen and Singletary had no idea what was going on.
They didn't know the snap count.
Yeah.
That's what I read.
Yeah, with like, how do you leave the huddle? Or was that right? Was that right to the line?
And then Daboll goes, "It's the play we've practiced the most." I'm like, shut
Yeah.
the F up, dude.
That
No,
was-
it isn't.
That was confusing.
Lies.
If that's true, then that's one thing. Because when you look at the play, like it would have worked if
It
anyone
would've.
blocked. Because they had
Yep.
5 linemen to 1 linebacker and like 1 cornerback. It was like 5-on-2 blocking.
Oh, it should work. Absolutely.
Well, you have
Since
to
no
move
one
when the
moved.
ball snaps.
Yeah. Since they totally failed, it didn't work. But the play call wouldn't have been stupid if they actually did anything.
It's
on the
almost
field.
as if everybody on that left side didn't understand the concept of how quickly everything needed to happen. You know, it was
Yeah.
like it was a hurry up play. Like, come on, we got to go. We got to catch them surprised. And they're all standing around with their thumb up their ass.
To me, it's like they went to the sideline and Daboll's like, "Hey, Daniel, what would you do?" He's like, "Let's put 5 linemen out wide, and I'm gonna throw it to Malik, and we're gonna score."
You know what would have been better? If
Like an 8-year-old coming up with a play. You know what I mean?
it would have been better if Daniel just pooch punted it right through the uprights for no good reason at all.
Pooch
It would have
punted
been
up his
funny.
own ass would have been better with that.
Actually, it would have. Wait, could you? He could have drop kicked it. That would have been fun.
Is that still legal? I thought.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it is. It's still in. Wait, they didn't take it out because Doug Flutie did it the last time.
Yeah, I mean, but like how many years? I mean, that was a while ago.
Well,
Doug Flutie. That
Didn't,
must have been like in the early 2000s, right?
Yeah, but didn't like Chad Johnson or something do it too?
Yeah, you're right. Somebody did it.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but it was definitely maybe Chad Johnson got to do it when he was on the Patriots at the end of his career or something like that.
I think that happened. I'm gonna have to look
makes
that up.
sense.
Yeah, it's is that that's worth 3, right?
Well, it was you know.
I don't even know.
We got well, that's for next episode. We're
We're gonna have to do our homework.
Yeah, well, after we get through the emails, we'll have to make sure that we can.
If we can get through the volume of emails this week,
Yeah.
that's true, Colin. That's a really good point. It's not about that.
Big volume.
It's dumb.
Big
I
volume.
mean, we'd be remiss not to talk about the penalties, obviously. And I have issue with the refs, especially on the call where the touchdown was called back.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess the rule on the book is that you have to be set for a second. How many plays have you guys seen this season where a dude is still in motion, they snap the ball, and it's not? Some guy's coming around, they snap the ball, and then there's like a end around or
Constant.
jet sweep or something.
Jet
It happens
sweep,
all the time.
Constant.
So what is it? It's just like the ref wanted to fuck the Giants, like particularly like for that one play.
You
Like,
know,
I'm just so confused at like what is the NFL doing, and why are you having a rule that is enforced sometimes or not enforced other times? It's just confusing, and then all of a sudden, you're out a touchdown and you never score, or you never score another. Tracy scored. You know what I'm saying?
they didn't like the Mannings didn't talk about it, and I obviously wasn't listening to the other broadcast, but even the ref didn't explain it at all. I think the only thing that I can put my finger on there is it's possible he was slightly moving forward by the time the snap happened, and that might be what they called him on. And they don't have anything to say like, oh, he was moving forward. They say that instead. Like, they don't have to explain why they made the call, but like, you look at it and like, it's very, I'm just like kind of drawing straws here.
I just don't I just would love some clarification, to
Yeah.
be honest, because I don't really understand what the rule is, and I don't think teams understand what the rule is if that's going to get called.
Does the NFL, I know when they have a really controversial play, they'll say something the next day. Do they have a standardized way of or like like a documentation that they shoot out after every game explaining some of the calls. I maybe it's an internal thing and maybe not the media is privy to that, but like
Mhm.
it'd be cool to see certain plays explanations. Just for that,
100%. Yeah,
you
I mean,
know?
I think if it's especially egregious, you usually see it in the media. But if it's more of a, I mean, I don't know if you'd call this especially egregious. As Giants fans, I find it as a Giants fan, I find it especially egregious. Being a touchdown play, I find it especially egregious. But I mean, if you're not in our shoes, then perhaps it's not noteworthy enough to be a media story.
And why are you taking a touchdown away from your boy Manhurts? He was hurting
Yeah.
men out there.
Yeah,
A real human man's.
Yeah, he was a human man's taking it.
I think teams can like submit like requests to whoever the league to reevaluate calls. Like even though you can't do anything retroactively, like it's like putting something on record. I think.
Yeah.
I think they do that. I think some other team did that this week or something else that I can't recall.
Washington about the Hail Mary with Chicago.
Yeah, exactly.
There was all sorts of holding calls on that play, and they're like, "Why the hell was this even allowed to continue?"
There's holding
that
calls
was
on
that was
every play.
hilarious. I was watching that game live, and
Ugh.
man, when I saw the video of the one Bears player like talking shit in the side, and then he
Yeah,
the
that was
guy who
awesome.
did that. I was like, this is so cool. Like, I
Yeah.
love this. It's like you deserve this so bad.
You know what though? Like he manned up afterwards. He like apologized.
I didn't hear what he said.
Yeah, he apologized to the whole team. He was just like, in paraphrasing, he was basically like, "I'm a horse's ass, and I got to be better than this."
I do appreciate people who take accountability for
Yeah.
their
It
shitty
also
act.
didn't seem to have affected the play at all for him.
I
know?
think it hit off his hands.
It did,
Yeah.
but it didn't affect him getting to like.
Oh, true.
I mean, you should be paying attention from the start, and
Yeah.
you
for sure.
did the exact thing that you're not supposed to do. Like
The
they
fans-
literally tell you not to do that.
The Bears fans in the end zone were pointing to him that the play was happening as he's facing the crowd like an asshole.
I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, obviously, it's hard to root for the Commanders, but man, Tommy DeVito really effed this team.
Hey,
Yeah.
wait, but he's at the Yankee game with his agent tonight.
Cool. He
You
can
know
watch
what
the
his
Yankees
agent
get
looks like?
sweeps because he's a fucking loser too.
Yeah, well,
I'm sorry.
Every time I see the agent, I think of Catherine Keener. You know that actress? She is like the love interest in 40-Year-Old Virgin or the mom in Step Brothers.
Yes.
yes.
If you put their faces next to each other, like Catherine Keener of a certain age, like not super young Catherine Keener, but like mid-2000s, they look very similar. Put her in a stupid hat. You're not telling the difference.
Oh, I can see it. I can totally see it.
Speaking of stupid hats, I know you guys are watching the Manning cast, but I just want to mention Jason Kelsey, not dressed up for Halloween, looked like a leprechaun, like straight up like a leprechaun.
Oh, he had a green suit on.
He
corduroy?
had that corduroy. It was like gray, but it was gray to a greenish thing, and he had the stupid little hat on. I don't know what you call it.
Fedora.
No, it's the one.
Oh, like a top hat kind of thing.
No, it was like,
like a newsie.
Yeah,
A
yes.
famine
Newsy.
hat.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you.
Yeah, famine hat. That's what
Famine.
they call it. That's the official word. Yeah,
I've never heard that one, but it's good.
the Italians wore that hat a lot when they were immigrants in this country too. I'm not sure if you were
Yeah.
aware of that.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
probably invented it.
no, they didn't. Oh,
Famine
you're
hat.
bringing that conversation up? Our text message conversation with your cousin Mark? Yeah, great. Just the two Italians ganging up on the Irish guy. A lot of fun.
Sounds about
I mean,
right.
You've been doing it since 1996, man.
Yeah, I'm
Keep it-
surprised you didn't throw Mike Messina on there for no good reason too.
When I held the revolution of St. Patrick's Day, the Italian revolution,
Yeah, you both showed up at Italian national.
it was
soccer
more than just me and
jerseys.
him.
Who
I had a
else? did
Pinocchio
it?
t-shirt on.
Who did?
I got as many Italians as I could. St. Patrick's is Italian.
I mean,
Everyone knows that.
he was English.
Oh, he was
was a-
Italian.
There was a bar in Williamsburg that had a Italian flag hanging outside of it on St. Patrick's Day. I'm just like, I don't know if this is on purpose. I think this is an accident.
No,
This
it was
was like a
probably there
Scottish bar.
all year round, and it just
Yeah,
happened
it's there
to be
all the
very
time.
obvious at that point.
Yeah,
But anyway, we digress.
yeah. I do want to say something about Malik Neighbors, and if you're gonna go to the media and be like, I was open, I just didn't get the ball,
Catch the
then
ball.
maybe like catch it.
Yep.
Too soon, man. It's not a good look for you. It's too soon for you to like have your head so far in the clouds. you need to. This is 2 games this season where you made crucial drops that could have potentially been game changing, plays, and you go out to the media and kind of throw other people under the bus. I'm not into it.
Again? I didn't see.
No, he didn't, because he knew he effed up this game.
Yeah.
But last game, he said it. I think if you want to go out and do those things, you really have to be on the top of your game all the time, be consistent, and not be the one that is potentially losing your team the game because you can't make an easy catch.
This is his time to truly build himself as a professional. I mean, like, no one wants to come into the league as the number one. He's better than Marvin Harrison Jr. at this point.
Sure.
He just is. He's a better player, so you call him the number one. So come into the season, be like, all right, I got a crappy quarterback. I got kind of a crappy team. I'm just going to do everything I possibly can to be as great as I can be, and then eventually it will all fall into place, whether it's here or somewhere else. But, like, why don't I just put out this? And it's very difficult as an immature 21-year-old. I mean, he is still 21, right?
Something
Yeah,
like
get
that.
it.
he like just turned 21, right?
Yeah, something like that. So I get it. It's going to be very tough, but, like, just know that the media is not your friend when
Exactly
things are
that.
bad. Not that I
think
like.
we're good.
Yeah. I mean, act like you've been there in the same way. I mean, I guess he hasn't lost really in a long time, so this is a little bit of a rude awakening. But I don't know. It's going to change. We're not going to have the same quarterback next year, regardless of where we're drafting. We're going to have someone else throwing you the ball. So just wait until you get there.
Agreed.
Speaking of that, can we revisit our decision to tell Russell Wilson that he could not compete for a starting role over the summer? And where do you think that came from? Who decided to tell him that? And was that what Brian Dable wanted, do you think?
It was Mara telling Shane to tell Dable.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. It's all Mara. You cannot actually think that Shane was just like, no. We've got a good quarterback. You can come in, but you're the backup.
Yeah.
No way.
Vet minimum.
There's so many dudes they could have signed. There's so many people. I mean, I know I texted you guys earlier. I wish Jameis was the quarterback.
I know.
I love his little. I just like his little speeches. They're so funny.
He's hilarious, dude.
He's
You see the one
absolutely
before the game?
crazy. Yeah. Do it
was
for the
awesome.
name on your back. Do it for the name on your helmet. Oh wait, we don't have any decals on our helmets.
Yeah.
Love that.
Which the
All right,
Browns need to change personally.
watched-
What
Yeah,
was
I
it?
watched another one.
Undying belief. What was it?
Yeah.
That I kept saying over and over again. Ultimate belief.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I watched another one where he's talking about Watson. And he's like, "This man has to face
that one. was
another
crazy.
hardship."
Yeah, that was bad.
Just like you are
Yeah.
like a preacher. The way
He's
you
like
speak
he's like
in an
Don
interview.
King.
Yes, very much. I just like the inflection. I like how he talks. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I want to I want to hear pregame speeches in a Giants uniform.
Yeah.
Or
What does Daniel Jones say pregame?
farting on a snare drum.
You guys, like, we're gonna go out there. And
Come on, we
play
worked hard this
ball.
week.
Yeah,
I was the first one in the building. I was the last one to leave. I expect that out of all of you. And I don't know what to do with calling a protection on the play.
Can you call my mom to come pick me up after the game?
Can you call my mom to call the protection because she knows better than I do?
Yeah, I mean, let me ask you a question. If you have like a veteran center in that situation, does he have any input on sort of those line changes?
Not motion.
I don't know. I think on motion. Well, he calls protections. Like I
Yeah.
think what they were saying about Jason Kelsey was that he called like everything at the line of the scrimmage for Jalen Hurts, and that's why it was taking Jalen a long time to get ramped up to speed.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't think he's calling audibles or like
No.
hot routes, but he's calling all the protections. But I also think that might have been a unique scenario.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
not typical.
I don't think. I mean, I know that the center has something to do with calling the protections, but I'm just curious, like, to what extent that could be.
I feel
And-
like
and if-
it's
If you
like,
have somebody who's been around a long time, if that's potentially helpful for your quarterback who, I mean, he's not new. He's been here for 6 years. You should probably know these things, but either way,
I feel like it centers at least, someone like John Michael Schmitz, who's only in his second season here. maybe it's kind of like you call the protections for the guards right next to you, and it's possible that Daniel has to tell the both tackles what to do, because especially on the road, like they can't hear anything. So maybe it's like, I don't know. Everyone's helping each other out. I'm speculating, but I'm
You
sure
like
it's different
turn
for
to the
every
guard and
team.
you're like, hey, I want you to pull. And then afterwards you should run to the outside and block somebody on the sweep.
I mean, or just know the play. I don't know.
was a masturbation joke.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It didn't land. It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to continue talking about this game. I do want to shout out to Bobby O and Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton is going to made himself a lot of money. I feel like in this year, he's going to at least get like $8 to $10 million a year next year from somebody else, not from the Giants.
Why Bobby O?
Oh, he had a great game. He finally looks like he appeared in this defense.
It's funny you should say that, because there's so many people that think he played like garbage.
No, man, I thought he was there. I don't think it's he's not the entire run defense. And he's also off-ball linebacker too. So,
yeah, that is true. I mean, even Micah McFadden had himself a couple of good plays here and there as well.
He had a good game. According to PFF, they were the best two defenders on the team. So,
yeah,
I don't know how much weight you put on that, since they think Daniel Jones is good sometimes. But
yeah,
and you know what's cool too? You're not really hearing the names of the safeties very often, unless they're coming down the line and making tackles for losses, which is a great sign that something is going well in the back half of the secondary. So,
did you guys mention last week how the Giants have the number 1 draft class this year?
Yeah. No, we didn't mention it, but I read that the other day, that's wild, actually.
I mean, when I look, I believe it, because there's a lot of contributors. I think Theo Johnson is probably the only one who's just kind of ramping up. I think, he had the best game of his career, which was 4 catches and 30 yards or something like that. But, maybe if he gets set into motion, he can make a key block too. You never know.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the whole thing too. I think it was probably a get ramped up in the playbook and learn how to block at this level. That's what you have to do first, and then we'll give you the opportunities to catch the ball. That's probably
it's also hard as a tight end to catch the ball when your quarterback never throws it over the middle ever.
True.
That's also a good point, Dan.
Unless you're going on flats all the time or screens.
What do you what was anyone know what Wan'Dale's average yards per catch?
4.7.
He's a running back.
Every time it's just like 3 yards max. He's gonna get.
It's hard when you especially when you play the Steelers and you see Pickens. You realize he could have basically, you could have Neighbors and Pickens. I mean, if you had Pickens, you might not even have picked Neighbors in this draft potentially. Not that I dislike Wan'Dale. I think he plays a good role in the offense. I think there's a lot of well-designed plays to him to move the chains.
Yep.
But his opportunity to get yards after the catch is pretty limited, and his opportunity to get anything that's not a short pass is pretty limited as well.
I'd love to get that guy some yak
balls.
Yeah, then he'd run really fast.
Yeah, for sure. I was reading about a Red Sox pitcher who was a drunk and addicted to crack, and he was supposed to pitch like in the World Series. And this was, in Boston's huge World Series drought. And he was supposed to pitch that day, ended up getting wasted and all cracked out and passed out in the locker room. So they had to rush somebody else in, and then they ended up losing the World Series that day. So just remember, don't smoke crack or you might lose your team the World Series.
Was that Bill Buckner World Series loss?
I wish I had paid more attention to the specifics of the article, but I just thought it was so ridiculous that I just laughed mostly.
86, that would be really funny for the Mets.
Yeah, right. Communists next week.
The Washington Communists.
Yes.
Aren't we going to all be communists next week when Kamala gets elected?
Oh yeah, that's how it works.
We all just turn communists that instant that happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
All the clothes in my closet are red all of a sudden.
Actually, Jan, I don't know if you knew this, but we're already communist country because the president decides the prices for all goods and gas.
Right.
Yeah. He's just deciding that it's already government mandated. So, I mean, if you didn't know that we're already communist. Also, the Department of Defense is the number one employer in America. So that means that the government employs more people than anybody else. So that sounds pretty communist to me.
Yeah.
Government's
like
busy, and they're
Also,
launching
roads.
hurricanes. Yeah.
Yeah. What's more communist than a road? It's the most communist thing that can exist.
Fire departments,
Communist.
teachers
Your dad
union.
was a
Communist.
captain in the Communist Party.
Public education at all is communist. The kids should be in the meat factory where they belong. They crave the meat factory.
Yeah.
They crave
Something
it.
free.
It burns in their loins having to go to school every day when they could be slaughtering animals for the rest of us.
That's why everyone's fat, because we're not eating kid meat anymore. Bring back kids meat.
Yeah, that sometimes it gets mixed in.
Kids meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you
Yeah,
fall
you
in the
need
machine,
kids packing your meat. Yeah.
if the kid falls in the machine while he's working in the factory, you don't stop producing the meat because that would have economic consequences to your business. You can't shut the machine down for that, Colin.
The direct
That's
correlation with
communism.
Pizzagate.
That's
That's how
communism.
Pizzagate happened.
Yeah.
Everyone was looking for kids meat instead of Pizzagate.
Wasn't pepperoni.
You don't see it? Open your eyes, dude. Do your own
I-
research.
I was
Thank you.
You know what? I think we have to end early. I need to do more research before I go to sleep tonight.
Yeah, you better. My dad recommends you just go on YouTube for 8 to 10 hours a day.
There's YouTube Kid Meat Factory.
Yeah, YouTube Kid Meat Factory. You can learn all about it.
That sounds horrible.
It's actually it's a Diddy thing. It's not about like meat. It's about meeting kids in
Meeting
a factory.
kids.
Like a meat. It's
Yeah.
a factory where you meet kids.
All this baby oil. What about the corn oil?
Man, it seems like a lost opportunity to me.
That's what I'm saying.
Corn is the backbone of American agriculture, and if you're not going to support it, communist.
Have you seen Interstellar?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen it.
All about it.
It's all there.
Yeah.
Got
No corn. We got to go into space.
Communist.
Communists. What's more communist
Space is
than like,
communist.
oh,
Space is the
super
most
communist.
communist place.
Those people,
ever.
they all have this space station. They all contribute to it. Different countries, communist.
Yeah. That's why
Global-
Donald Trump made Space Force, to attack the space communists.
Yes. Exactly that. Well, Dan, I don't know if the listeners know, but this is
Am I
like
changing
some
your
real
vote right
heavy
now?
stuff right
Yeah.
now. What's that?
Am I changing your vote right here?
Oh, I already voted. Yeah.
I just said
I wrote in
deposit box
Taylor
on fire, too.
Swift.
Nice.
Did you
Good.
see that that there's like a propaganda post going around where it's like some boomer wrote in Taylor Swift to try to convince other people who like Taylor Swift to not vote or like to vote for Taylor Swift? Anyway. So the commies, Washington.
Oh yeah, Washington.
Yeah. For anyone still listening.
Anyone thinks that this run of wins against that team is going to continue because Dan seems to always beat them? Not going to happen. We're going to lose. We're going to lose this game, and I can't wait.
It would be perfect if we won, and then they bring back everyone saying, "Hey, maybe we got something here."
No.
Just so
It's
we
at
can
home.
lose the rest.
If it was on the road, I'd say maybe, but at
sure.
home, no, absolutely not.
No, not winning at home. Not a
No.
chance.
There's gonna
A
be zero.
1,000
zero
days
win.
since a primetime touchdown, was it? Or
Yeah, it's 1,057 or something.
Really? Oh, I had another stat I wanted to check. Daniel Jones in
1 in
prime
15?
time, 1 in 15, the worst since 1970. How about that?
Yeah,
It's pretty
guys,
bad.
really.
it's not his fault. It's
No,
not his
no.
fault.
It's everybody around him. Let him down.
They don't have an all-pro long snapper on special teams, and that really is
Mhm.
affecting Daniel Jones' play on offense.
Has there ever been
Yeah,
an all?
They didn't get him 2 turnovers in the red zone.
All pro long snap.
Could have been you, Colin.
I know.
I mean,
Oh,
I guess the long
one-handed-
snapper is usually he has another position, so there's no. Who
Not
does the
really.
long snapping in the Pro Bowl?
I mean, Zach Diassi
Diassi.
pretended like he was a linebacker for about a year until he just stopped working out, and then
It's a great job,
oh, yeah, it
Chillest
was great.
job.
It was great.
especially like by the time if you're like 10-year long snapper, the vet minimum is probably like almost $2 million.
Yeah, he was killing it.
It's great. It's great. Anyway, 100% loss.
Yeah.
Tyrone Tracy's out, so that was the only thing that was exciting to watch
Hey,
anyway.
that's good for fantasy team.
What's that?
He's not playing this week.
He's not playing.
Oh, he
He
was
is
officially
concussed.
ruled out.
He is concussed. Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, I don't know what to say. The commies don't have a great defense at all. Great offense. I just don't really see the Giants are just on a downward spiral right now, and I don't think it's going to get any better.
no. So here's the question though: how does Dable keep the locker room and continue to keep losing too?
You need leadership from your vets to help Dable and to kind of. I think you have to let people know that Daniel Jones is going to be gone.
But you can't tell them that.
But you can't actually tell them that. You need to be subtle about it. You need to let that rumor spread. You need to. I think it's hard, man. It's hard because
Just put in like a blatantly obvious, like this offense is because of Daniel. It's so simple and so tailor made for him. If we can't succeed, it's clearly on him. We've done everything we can to make that clear to the players. And,
yeah, I mean, you need to give them someone else to be mad at other than your head coach. Because if you're mad at the head coach, you lose the locker room. They're going to get fired.
Well,
I'll
here's
blame it
the
on
question.
John Mara then to the players.
Yeah, or
This
yeah,
is,
blame it on
this is this
whatever.
guy's fault. Yeah,
That is the best tactic for middle management of all time. Is anytime you need to tell anyone to do anything, you're just like, yeah, man, my boss is on my ass, so you got to do this.
yeah.
And they're
Here's
like,
a
damn your boss, TJ. I'm like, yeah, screw that guy.
Here's a question though: like, is there any benefit at all behind the scenes for Dable to actually have very frank conversations with certain players, and like Malik Neighbors, for example, saying him straight up, be like, just get through the season. I know we're not really seemingly going up right now, but things are going to be different next year. Wink, wink. Like, is that even a conversation that's being had?
I don't
Or
think
is that
Mike Martindale's coming back. First of all,
No.
I think maybe that you have conversations with guys you are comfortable with. Maybe like he'll talk to Singletary and be like, I can't do this, I can't do that. The stuff we were running in Buffalo, was this, but we can't do it here because of X, Y, and Z deficiencies at the quarterback position. And then, maybe Singletary can start having smaller conversations around the locker room and being like, Dable's upset because he can't run what he wants to run. Obviously the offense could be a lot better, a lot more explosive, a lot more varied than it is right now. But because of X, Y, and Z reasons specifically at quarterback, that's not going to happen. But, look for a change. I don't know, man. I'm just spitballing, but to me, that would be the best way to go about it if I were Dable.
I would love to hear the venting conversations that he has with his wife at home about all of this. You know what I mean? Because that's where it's all coming out. That's the like, my job is fucking impossible, and here's why. And it just laying it all out there. And I would just love to be a fly on the wall because that's the realness right there. Frankly, I'm sure he's had some of these, at least a little bit of these conversations with Mara himself. Like behind closed doors, be like, listen, guy, I know we signed him for this deal and he's getting paid all this money, but he's not good. He's not good and he's not going to be good. So I'm trying my hardest right now. Like, I wonder if that's a conversation at all.
I don't know how open, that those lines of communication are. You'd hope that's a conversation that you have with the owner of the team.
I mean, otherwise it's like, all right, Mara's just thinking, well, Dable's not it then. I mean, the vote of confidence is out there right now, but like, that doesn't mean
I don't want to try to jump into the head of a billionaire because, their view of reality is so warped that you can't really possibly understand what he's thinking.
True. That's fair.
Shoot him into the sun.
Well,
Mhm.
Oh, did you watch the Wellington documentary?
I did not, but
it was cool.
I will. Yeah,
It was great. It was great. It was nice to have a little bit of a feel good thing around this team for the first time in a while. So that if nothing else, it's worth that. It was cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch it. What is it on?
NFL Network, I think.
Oh, okay. NFL Plus.
I'm not sure.
I hate all this crap. Especially ESPN is the most annoying because you get ESPN Plus, but then you can't watch Monday Night Football half the time.
Yeah, makes no sense.
Yeah.
I hate you.
ESPN Plus is not really ESPN.
No.
Yeah. Anything else tonight, guys?
Keep on losing.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Tank it, baby. I'm ready to tank.
Tank.
All right. Thanks for listening tonight, guys. You can follow Big Blue United, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow us, BBU Pod Boys with a Z on Twitter to see when all the new podcasts come out. Most of the time. I forgot to do it last week. Sue me. All right, bye.
Thanks for listening.
Tank.